And Sue, you born and raised here in this area, or
Mendoza, Lebanon, yes.
in this
Around
county?
Yeah, for many years.
Many, many years, huh? Okay. We're going to talk about diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
So, to start with, it, in your own words, when you hear the word diabetes, what does it make you think of?
Time consuming.
Say a little bit more about that.
It's very hard for you, especially if you're a new diabetic, to be a mother, a band booster, just, all the stuff that mothers do.
Mm-hmm.
It was very hard to get all that straight. Everybody'd say, did you get your insulin? Did you get your monitor? And it takes a while.
So, you have the disease.
Yes, I've had it for many years.
How long have you had it?
25.
Okay. And how was it you came to find out about that you had it?
I couldn't see. I got to the point, I worked at the hospital, I got to the point I couldn't see anything. I thought it was my blood pressure,
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the emergency room and the doctor said, "So have you ever had your sugar checked?" I said, "No, I don't think so." And that's what it was. It was 700 and something.
Oh my. So that was a shock.
Very
probably.
big shock, yes.
And do you have folks in your family that had it?
My father did.
Okay. So did you think about being at risk yourself, or?
No. I never, it didn't cross my mind. I'm not sure why, but
Now, do you have others in your family that have the disease now?
No.
So you're the only one?
Yes. So I'm an only child and I don't have any
Okay.
real relatives.
Uh-huh. And what's it been like for you living with this disease for 25 years?
It's been very hard in a lot of ways. You have to keep up with many things that your doctor doesn't necessarily do. You have to learn a lot on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So that was what was the hardest.
And things have changed in 25 years, too.
Yes, ma'am.
So what you knew 25 years ago, it's not necessarily what you need to know today, is
That's
it?
true. It was all sugar back in the old days, and now it's carbohydrates.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so people used to think if you just ate anything with sugar in it.
But now it's it's more refined, more individual. It's
So what's the most challenging thing for you after living with the disease for 25 years? What's the most challenging thing for you right now?
It's gotten better over the years.
Has it?
A lot better. You learn many things.
Mm-hmm.
How your body works and
Yeah.
how the insulin affects you, and what you eat and what you don't. It's a lot easier now.
So you take insulin every day?
Yes.
Okay. And you just cook for yourself, or?
No, I have a family.
So do you cook for everyone, or how is that? You have to cook different things for yourself?
It's like a short order kitchen. I have 2 grandchildren that I watch in the evenings, so they eat something different, then my husband eats something different, and then I have to have something different. So it's a little challenging to, but other than that, it's okay. You get used to it.
And what about activity?
I don't do much activity as far as walking or exercise and stuff. I don't do much of that, but I do watch my grandchildren, keep up with them, and take them where they need to go and bring them back, and
So you're active
Yes.
during the course of the
Yes.
day, but you don't belong to a gym.
No.
Or
No. I wish I had that much stamina, but I don't.
Yeah. What kind of support does your family give you around the disease?
They're pretty good about it. I've gotten used. They eat ice cream. I don't. We're used to it now.
Mm-hmm. Do they give you encouragement, or?
Not as much anymore. They just leave it to me. They did it first because they watched me.
Okay.
You know, but now they don't. I'm pretty much on my own now.
So you don't get those reminders that you take
No.
your medicine?
Not anymore.
Or? Okay, but at first you did.
Yes. Well, when we went to the beach, I got them. Make sure you pack the, did you do this, you know. But other than that, no.
Okay. So sometimes when, for people that have diabetes, traveling is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any difficulties with?
No. I just keep it cool and my insulin cool.
Uh-huh.
And everything else is fine.
So you can just go and do what you want
Mm-hmm.
without worrying about it.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's kind of good news,
That's very good news.
you know, because for some people with some other problems,
Mhm.
they can't always do that. Do you think that there's things in the community that cause diabetes or create risks for diabetes?
It's really a nationwide thing. We don't do exercise. We don't eat right. You know, it's fast food.
Do you think there's things we could do better?
Of course.
Could you give me an example of something, an idea that you might have?
Well, everybody should walk. You know, watch your weight. You should eat properly. You know, don't eat too much fast food. You know, there's a lot of things that you could do that parents need to teach their children, and you know.
Now, we have a lot of concern about children, you know, because some of them are overweight. And do you see that as a problem here in your county?
Yes.
So give me some example. What do you see when you go out?
Little children that are obese. You see quite a few of them. And most of them are eating some kind of junk food.
Did you do that when you were little?
No, not much, no.
Probably didn't have a chance to get much of that, did you?
My mother was a registered nurse, so
Was she?
yes, so we ate pretty good, you know, wasn't too much junk.
Uh-huh. Are you a nurse also?
No, I'm insurance.
Okay, because you said you worked at the hospital.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then I worked for Dr. Bailey for a few years. So.
Okay. So you take care of getting the money.
Oh yes, yes.
I understand. Do you belong to any groups in the community?
No.
Do you go to the diabetes support group? No. So have you never been?
No, never been.
Oh, you know about it though.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason why you don't go, or?
I just didn't feel the need to. I probably should.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure there are things you can always learn. You know, no matter how old you are, you can always be taught something. But I just never have. I don't know anybody, and I just don't know. I don't have time. You know.
Do you talk to other people about diabetes in your everyday?
And I don't really have much contact with people with diabetics. If they are, they don't mention it. You know, they don't say I am.
So it's even though this is a big problem, people don't really talk.
No, don't discuss it much.
That's interesting, isn't it? What do you think that is that they don't talk about
I
it?
think they don't want people to know.
Is it embarrassing, do you think, or?
I don't know whether it's embarrassing or you just don't want people to think you're sick. You know what I mean? You hear diabetes, you know, that's a big word.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they just don't want to, and a lot of times they don't know enough to discuss it. You know, they just...
Where, if you need some help, where would you go in the community to get that help?
Probably the doctor.
Yeah. Now, when you first started telling me about getting the diabetes, you mentioned your eyes. That your vision was blurry.
Yes, yes.
You have any problems now?
No, not like I did now.
Okay, so as long as you're keeping your blood sugars under control, your vision's good. Any other complicating things at this point?
My feet. I have neuropathy in my feet. And that has been the most horrible thing.
Do anything for it?
Just take neuropathy.
Yeah.
Taking your rotten, I mean.
Taking a run. And when you go, do you have the doc look at your feet?
No. I look at them myself.
Okay.
If I had something, I would say, here, look at these.
Right.
But, you know.
Right. And but you take special care.
I try to.
Wear shoes in the house.
I try to. My feet hurt if I don't.
Oh, do they?
Mhm.
Yeah. Have you ever been to a podiatrist?
No.
No. So you haven't had a reason probably
No.
to go. Okay. Do you think there's things that the local schools could do to help children learn to be healthier? If so, what kinds of things?
They should have some kind of a small nutrition class, you know. I don't expect them to take up a whole lot of the day, but you should have a small nutrition class every day.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that people have been telling me is that a lot of young people don't know how to cook.
No, but when they're young and in school, they're more impressionable.
Mm-hmm.
They would take it more serious
Mm-hmm.
when they're smaller.
So we should start when they're really,
Yes.
really young.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you shop in Honecker?
Lebanon.
And you can come over here then.
Yes.
And what do you find in the grocery stores? Any trouble finding?
No, you can. If you look hard enough, you can find everything you need usually.
Stores different than when you were a child?
Oh yes, much different. A lot more pre-cooked, pre-packaged.
And you work full time now, or are you at home?
No, I'm disabled.
Okay.
I had a stroke.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
But you're doing.
Yeah, I'm doing
You're doing
fine.
well.
I went to. I worked for Dr. Bailey, I told you, and so when I got up, Sandra called him at home and said, and so he was there at the emergency room time I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my shot, and most of it's okay.
How long ago has that been?
11 years.
Oh, you've done really well then, actually. Yeah, that's great. So, my original question I wanted to ask you was, do you cook? You got all this short order stuff going on. Are you the
Yes.
the chief cook?
Mm-hmm.
And do you cook from scratch, or do you
Most of the time.
do you use much prepackaged food?
No, not a whole lot. My husband's a meat eater, which I know is not good, but
So every meal has to have.
Yeah, some kind of meat usually.
Do you belong to any groups at all in the community?
No.
Church group?
No, I go to church, but I don't belong to any group.
Okay, but you attend church?
Yes.
So I'm not taking attendance
No,
or
that's
anything.
okay.
Do you ever hear your minister talk about being healthy, taking care of your health? And
Not much, no.
does your pastor have diabetes?
No.
Okay. Do other people in your church?
There's 2 or 3.
So do you all have any conversation about it?
No, usually I don't.
So how did you come to know that they actually had the disease?
Where I worked at the doctor's office.
Oh, so you saw them come in then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's kind of interesting that people don't talk about it more. That they don't share with each other about that. Do you have any thoughts about why that is? Or?
No, just that I don't tell people I'm a diabetic. I don't tell people I've had a stroke. I don't know whether I think it's none of their business or I just don't want to whine about nothing. Is the main thing. Because I don't want people to know that I'm sick. I'm not sick, but I don't want them to think that there's anything wrong with me.
I want people to feel sorry for you?
Right.
Huh? Would that be something? Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I think many people feel the same way when I talk with them about it. Not just here, but in other communities as well. Do you think there's anything in that the community, the larger community here, can do to help reduce diabetes and the risks for it?
I don't have any idea.
Okay. That's a fine, you know, I mean, sometimes people have these big, strong opinions about things, so it's fine that you don't. What do you think the most important thing is that people need to know about diabetes?
They need to be educated. When you go to the doctor and they tell you you have diabetes, they give you a little pamphlet and give you your medicine and come back in a month. There's no real education. I think they should have like Chuck's group, you know, the diabetes education, but a lot of them don't know about it, and I think that the doctors should mention it.
So letting people know a little bit more where they can go and get some help. Yeah, I think that you're not alone on that issue. I think that's a common thing. Unfortunately, not many doctors don't give you...
No, but they should.
Yeah.
Now, Dr. Bailey's has had a few drug reps from the insulin company come and talk to us, but really just want to sell their insulin.
Yeah, that's a
because I've gone to a few of those.
Yeah, yeah. And that's not necessarily what you need to know when you're trying to take care of yourself, is it?
That didn't help a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot more to the story when you're living with the disease that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any worries or concerns at this point about? I mean, it seems like you've mastered your own disease. You're taking care of yourself pretty well.
I think it's very hard to regulate your insulin. I think you should go back to the doctor more than once a month. For the first little bit, because a time or two I was out, you know, and my insulin dropped and I didn't have anything, you know. So that was scary, very scary.
Yeah, sometimes, especially at first, you don't even know what to ask. Yeah.
So I think they should have pamphlets and say, I recommend this group, you know, or this is the only group we have in the area, you know, go to it.
If you could tell other people that have diabetes anything, what would you say to them?
Make sure that you take your blood sugar. A lot of people, after they've been on it a little while, they say they can tell by the feel, how they feel, if it's up or down, or that's not true. It's not true at all.
Not always a good judge, are you?
No. You've got to have the numbers.
So watching those numbers is a really important thing.
Yes, very important.
Yeah. Well, I think I've asked you everything that I that I needed to, so it wasn't all that hard.
No.
But before we end, is there anything else that you'd like to share? Anything you can think about?
No.
Well, then we're finished then.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate so much you taking your time.
You're welcome. I'm sorry I wasn't even, but I'm not very good at this.
No, you were perfect. You were just fine.
You know, I've had a stroke, and I told Chuck, I said, you know, I probably won't remember half of it.
Well, you did really well.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know, this is not something that most people have experience doing, so I understand if you feel like flying.
I thought that I would try to go to some of the meetings when Chuck fixes it. I thought I might try to go to a few.
I would recommend. I was actually over here visiting a few months ago and went to one of their support meetings, and they had a couple of students actually come and do some education with the group, and then, I mean, I happened to talk a little bit that night because I was there, but what I found interesting was that there was maybe 15 people or so there, and they were very interactive, talking to each other. So, I mean, I think it gives you a sort of a peer group that can be helpful.
Oh, yes.
So I would encourage you to
try it out.
Yeah, and I know that they have 3 or 4 different places that they meet in the county, so